What is up, YouTube? Doth Gaming here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys an update to my Eye of the Storm Magicka Nightblade PvE build. Just so you guys do know, though, moving forward, this build will continue to be updated on my website, dotsgaming.com, as you know, obviously. But it's been updated on there since Clockwork City came out. I just am now taking the time to update this for the video guide, but I will obviously try to, moving forward, be more on top of the video guides and making sure that they are updated as the patches are coming out. But if the video guide is not updated, you guys can always check out dotsgaming.com for the updated version of all of these builds. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Now, this build is a unique take on the Magicka Nightblade. Basically, the majority of the Magicka Nightblade PvE builds I see out there focus really heavily on, you know, range damage, elemental rage, and just staying at a range. But with this build, I tried to take up more of a melee spot and use Eye of the Storm and Grothdarr in combination to really dish out some disgustingly high AoE damage. And the build is super fun to play, and it has a bit of tuning that you could do with it too to really fit your play style and how you want to play it. But this build is good enough for pretty much any form of content, so just keep that in mind. It's been used at all different levels, so you can really do what you would like with this. But moving into the gear to start right off, we are running 2 pieces of Grothdarr. As I said, Grothdarr is going to be one of the main sets in this build. It is part of the whole Eye of the Storm playstyle. You are in the middle of a torrent of AoE, so that is what this set is going to help us do by creating those lava pools around us that are going to deal flame damage. So very important part of the build. Our 5-piece is Julianos. To me, Julianos is one of my favorite sets for Magicka Nightblade. It's always solid. Sometimes it's not the best, but it's never the worst. It's always a solid set for Magblade, and that is why I like to use it on my build here, because now, however the patches fall, I know Julianos is always going to parse relatively decently. So Julianos is my choice of my 5-piece. Now, in terms of our other 3-piece, we do have as my mouse keeps moving, we are using Willpower Jewelry, so that just gives us a huge boost to our maximum magicka, as well as some extra spell damage. Now, I am running 5-1-1. I am running 1 heavy piece, 1 medium piece, and 5 pieces of light. And then, obviously, all will be traded divines. I am missing 1 trait. It is infused, but all will be traded divines. And for our jewelry, we are running 2 arcane and 1 healthy. If you feel you need more health, you can sub in a second healthy piece, but I feel that I'm fine above 16k, you know, based on, you know, group play and group instances. So for me, running 1 healthy piece is perfectly fine. Now, I know some of you may be watching going, well, Dots, that leaves us 1 dead piece, because you should be wearing 5 pieces of body gear. I have 1 random pair of boots here, but there will be 1 dead piece of gear somewhere in the build. I recommend you make it your staves, and the reason I recommend that you make it your staves is because you can replace this with eventually veteran Maelstrom Arena staves or Masters weapons, you know, whatever you want to use. I like the VMA staves in this spot. My VMA staff's on my DK, otherwise I'd have it on this guy to show you. But using the VMA staves is a great way to get the 1-piece bonuses here on your bars. So just something to keep in mind moving forward if you want to build this build really above and beyond. Now, in terms of our weapon traits, I believe the best traits to go are Infused on the front bar and Nirnhoned on the back bar. As you can see, I do not have Nirnhoned on my back bar. I do have Sharpened, so that's why my stat sheet's going to look a little weird on my back bar. But I think that Nirnhoned is best on the back bar and Infused is best on the front bar, but you could do double Infused as well. I don't know how big of a difference it is, but if you want to go super optimized, I think it's Infused Nirnhoned, but double Infused is not bad either, so that is another option if you cannot find a Nirnhoned staff or retrait to Nirnhoned. Now, in terms of abilities, what we are looking at using, we have our spammable, which is Swallow Soul. Swallow Soul is dirt cheap, great heal, minor vitality. It's just one of the greatest spammables in the game. It is kind of a pain in the butt to light attack weave with Swallow Soul, so that is just something to keep in mind when you're going through your adventures. So that's going to take a bit of practice for you to get down, but once you get it down, it's not too bad. Then we have Siphoning Attack. Siphoning Attack is going to be our massive form of sustain with this build. So basically, it imbues your weapon with soul-stealing power, and your light and heavy attacks are going to restore health and magicka. And then when the effect runs out, you're going to get a big boost of magicka. to your character, so this is going to be something you want to keep up at all times. The next ability, our bread and butter, Merciless Resolve, giving us minor berserk, 8% damage increase for 20 seconds, and then causing us to shoot a spectral bow after weaving 5 light or heavy attacks for massive amounts of damage. This is our biggest ability. You need to make sure to maintain this at all times. You need to make sure to be firing off that spectral bow on command. Just something you need to keep an eye on. We have an awesome execute. We have Impale. Impale is simply our execute. I like it on my front bar now. I moved it from my back bar to my front bar because I want it on my Inferno bar for that extra damage increase to Impale. So that is why I moved it up to the front bar. We have Inner Light. Simply put, Major Prophecy, more Max Magicka, it's too good to not have. And of course, the ultimate that the build is focused around, Eye of the Storm. Create a cataclysmic storm around you that builds for 2 seconds and then lays waste to all enemies, dealing flame damage every second for 7 seconds. You're going to have massive, massive AoE pressure with Eye of the Flame and Grothdarr on you at the same time, as well as the other AoE we have in our build. So this is just going to make everything's going to die. Just everything's going to die. Now onto our back bar. We have Crippling Grasp. Crippling Grasp is a ridiculously strong dot. Gives us Major Expedition. It just really, really ups our single target pressure, and it's just a great ability to have. Twisting Path is one of our 2 big AoEs, our ground AoEs. It does really good damage. Not really much more to say about it. It's a big range, deals a lot of damage. Can't say enough good stuff about it. We are running Blockade of Storms. Blockade of Storms will help us with off balance. And of course, Elemental Blockade is pretty much just a staple in most Magicka PvE builds. It deals a lot of damage, and there's really not much else to say about it. It's just a very, very, very good ability. In terms of our shield, we are running Harness Magicka. Harness Magicka is much better than, what's the other one called? Dampen Magic. Harness Magicka just gives you massive Magicka return whenever you take a big hit, and I think that, you know, even in situations where you might need to use this time after time after time, you will get, you know, at least half to 60% refunded a lot of times if you're taking Magicka damage. So it just helps lessen the cost of this ability, and in my opinion is much worth using over Dampen. We also maintain Inner Light on the back bar to maintain our crit and max Magicka. And then we use Soul Harvest mainly for the ultimate gain is why we have it back here. It's also partially why it's on our AoE bar, so that as stuff is dying, we will be gaining massive amounts of ultimate from Soul Harvest. So definitely something to keep in mind when you're trying to do your attacks. You know, a lot of our AoE weaving even involves sitting on our back bar and spamming heavy lightning attacks, so it's going to make it so that we're gaining plenty of ultimate while we're killing that stuff. You could also use this during an execute phase to up the damage of your Impale, but I do think that you're going to be better off using Eye of the Storm still. But if you need to blitz something down real quick, don't have a lot of ultimate, use Soul Harvest, and it's going to make your Impale and the rest of your rotation deal massive amounts of damage. Moving into the other parts of our build here, we have the Apprentice is going to be our Mundastone. It is the current highest parsing Mundastone, so it is what we use. We are going to be a Vampire. You want to obviously be between Stage 2 and Stage 4. And then you are going to want to use the Witch Mother's Potent Brew for max health, max Magicka, and Magicka Recovery. In terms of potions, you're going to want to be using Spell Power Potions in this build. I know Spell Power Potions can be expensive, but it's how I think is the best way to get our Major Sorcery. If you do not want to gain your Major Sorcery that way, what I recommend doing is using Drain Power, morph into Sap Essence, and replace your back bar Inner Light with Drain Power. It's going to make the build a little bit easier to solo with as well, just due to the fact that you're going to have that big AoE heal. It's going to be some sort of form of giving you Major Sorcery on your back bar. So it is a decent substitute, but if you want the most optimal PvE DPS, then you need to get, in my opinion, you need to get your Major Sorcery from your potions. I just think it's the way that you need to go. Or if you have another group member in your group that's going to be giving you Major Sorcery, then you don't need Spell Power Pots, but it's just something to keep in mind while you're going throughout your adventures. In terms of our race choice, I like High Elf. I think Dark Elf parses a little bit better, but really, I don't think you could go wrong with either choice. They're both very, very strong. I don't think the difference is astronomical anyway, so you can really just choose whatever you like and whatever you just generally prefer. In terms of our stat pool, we are looking at 41.2k max Magicka. Again, you know, I am still missing a couple things. My Mage's Guild passive is missing some of those, missing some gear. Gear trait, but these are roughly what the stats look like. 41k max Magicka, 16.7k max health, 10k max stamina, about 1400 Magicka recovery, 2400 unbuffed spell damage, 51% crit, and of course, you know, whatever the light armor resistances are. Now, in terms of our rotation, for this build, it's very easy, and that is why I like this build. The rotation is very, very simple. So basically, you're going to just apply Merciless Resolve, Siphoning Attacks pre-fight, start on your back bar, just Light Attack, Elemental Blockade, Light Attack, Crippling Grasp, Light Attack, Twisting Path, Weapon Swap, and then Light Attack, Swallow Soul until Assassin's Will procs. Okay, then just fire off the bow, and then whenever you see that your dots need to be reapplied, swap to your back bar, reapply your 3 dots, go back to your front bar and weave. Apply Siphoning Attacks and Merciless Resolve as needed. When your target is below 25% HP, replace Swallow Soul with Impale. That's it. That is how simple this rotation is. I tried to build this to make it so that the rotation is as simple and as easy as possible, and it's literally just dot, 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 front bar, weave, Spectral Bow when it's up. When you see your dots running out, swap back, lay down the 3 dots, flop back, weave. It's that simple. It is really that simple. And then when you're on your AoE, for like an AoE situation, you're pretty much just going to do Blockade, Crippling Grasp, Twisting Path, and then you're going to weapon swap if Light of the Storm is available. You're going to want to use Eye of the Storm, but if Eye of the Storm is not available, I would recommend just sitting on your back bar and using Lightning Heavies. Because those are going to deal AoE damage. So it's in my opinion, it's the best way to handle trash fights, is just stay on that back bar and just use your AoEs and hold that lightning heavy. And then when you can, go to your front bar, you know, fire off the bow, you know, when you get it after 5 heavies, if the fight even lasts that long, and then use Eye of the Storm when you get it. For our champion point layout, we have 31 points into Elfborn, 49 points into Elemental Expert, 38 points into Spell Erosion, 75 points into Thaumaturge, and 37 points into Master at Arms. This is what I chose to go for my guy. I don't know if this is the most optimal in terms of the math behind the blue tree, but I do believe that going for Exploiter from Thaumaturge is definitely worth it for PvE. Off Balance is such a prevalent debuff that is definitely worth having. So this is what I ended up choosing to go for my blue tree. In terms of my green tree, I've gone 49 points into Warlord, 62 into Arcanist, 56 into Tenacity, 37 into Tumbling, and 26 into Shadow Ward. And then for red, we went 37 into Ironclad, 49 into Hardy, 49 into Elemental Defender, 49 into Thick Skinned, 26 into Spell Shield, and then 20 into Bastion to buff up that Harness Magicka just a little bit. But that is pretty much it. I do not think I forgot anything. That is it. That's it for the build, guys. The PvE build is very, very straightforward. Focuses on putting you at the center of a lot of area of effect damage. Very, very simple rotation. Very easy build to use. And it is very, very effective. So I 100% recommend it to you for your Magicka Nightblade. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bringing it to you here today. But if you like this build, guys, if you like this video, I would appreciate if you hit it with a thumbs up. Shows me that you like what I'm doing here. And then to keep updated with more builds, more stream footage, and just more general content from the Dots Gaming YouTube channel, please hit that sub button, as well as hit the little bell to keep notifications on. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time.